Hey guys, this video is going to be all about my college or uni experience and my tips. So before I get into the video, yes, I have coloured my hair again. Actually, I haven't technically coloured it, but I did put a toner through it, so here you can see the ends here. Yeah, I really just wanted to flatten out the colour, as they say it is, and I just didn't want too much of the golden tones, so I'm going for more of an ashier colour. But anyway, enough about my hair, let's actually get into the topic of this video, which is all about my uni experience. So in my very first Q&A video, one of the questions was asking me what my uni experience was like, and I asked you guys if you wanted me to do an actual dedicated video for that, to which some of you guys did request that, so here it is. So firstly, I'm going to talk about my personal experience at uni or college. I will be calling it uni because that's what we call it in Australia, but it's the same thing as college. And then after that, I will be talking about some tips I have for you guys if you're just about to start uni or if you're actually in uni at the moment. So just a bit of background, I studied a double degree business majoring in marketing and arts majoring in Japanese at Monash University here in Melbourne at both the Caulfield and Clayton campus. I studied that for 4.5 years and I graduated in 2008. Now the first thing I noticed was the big difference between high school and uni. It's a whole new world at uni. First of all, you don't have sort of dedicated teachers there to watch you and make sure that you're doing your work and all that sort of thing. You really need to be a lot more responsible and accountable for yourself. If you don't do your work, if you don't study, you're the only one that suffers, and you're the only one that I guess knows about it, because you do have lecturers and tutors, but they don't necessarily know you personally because they have so many students, and yeah, it's just completely different to having actual teachers. Also, because you're in different classes studying different units, then you may be with all different people. So it's not like in high school how you can be dedicated to one homeroom and sort of do all subjects with those same people, which makes it a lot easier to make friends. Instead, you can be with all different people. You may have a bit of a crossover, especially probably in first year, because a lot of the subjects that people are studying in that degree are the same. Otherwise, even if you are studying the same subjects, you could be in different time slots, so you're not necessarily studying with the same people. So I guess my own experience with making new friends was actually quite tough, and I did mention that in my Q&A video. I found it really hard to make lifelong friends at uni, and in fact I didn't actually meet any lifelong friends at uni, and I hope that that doesn't discourage you guys, because I do have tips on how you can sort of make more of an effort for that. For me, it was hard because every class was different, and then as soon as I made friends with someone, then the next semester that would change because all our classes would change again. Now, in terms of the workload and studying itself, I did see that there was quite a big difference between high school and uni. I felt like the workload was a lot more compared to high school, and for example, you might have thought in high school that a 1,000 word essay was heaps and heaps of words and it was crazy, but then when you get to uni, you may have regular 1,000, 2,000 word essays to do, and that's just a regular thing. So I found that there was quite a lot of work for the tutorials, and what they did in my degree was that some of the work it counted towards your end result. So you actually had to do it. So I personally had 12 contact hours, and in Australia or in Melbourne, contact hours are the actual scheduled hours that you are supposed to be at uni for either a lecture or a tutorial. So 12 hours doesn't sound like much at all compared to what we're all used to in high school or in school, but the workload definitely makes up for that, and there's a lot of work to do. Now, as I said at the start, it's completely up to you how much work you actually put into it. You don't necessarily have to do the homework that is assigned, but that just means that you're the one that loses out because you might not be up to date with the content. So I guess you can say that it's quite easy to slack off once you reach uni because there's no teachers to tell you off if you don't do your homework. Tutors don't really care too much if you haven't done it. They'll just move on to the next student if you don't know the answer to that particular question. So in saying all of that, I do have some tips for you that you might find useful if you're going into uni soon or if you are in uni at the moment. So my first tip is to be responsible. So as I have been saying throughout this video already, no one is there to watch you. So you need to make sure that you're putting in the effort, that you understand the content, because if you fail, then that just means that you need to do that unit again. And here in Australia, it means that you need to pay for that unit again, and that adds towards your HEX fee. I'm not sure if they still call it HEX now. But whatever the student fees are. So I would highly recommend that you be responsible and you still put in the amount of work that's required to pass the subject. In terms of making friends, you guys might be luckier than I was. I didn't have any high school friends that went to Monash as well, so I didn't sort of have anyone to talk to at all. I had to start from scratch, from very scratch. So you guys might have some friends that go with you to the same college or uni, but if you don't, and if you obviously you want to make more friends, my tips would be that you would join a club or two, or as many as you would like. There's a lot of clubs at uni, you know, based around different interests and whatnot. Now, I did join a club, but I didn't actually attend any of the events, which defeats the whole purpose. So I would recommend that if you do join those clubs, make an effort to go to their events, you know, their social gatherings and whatnot, because that's what is going to help you make friends. Now, on that topic, I'd just like to also talk about your social life in uni as well. What I noticed when I reached uni was that all of a sudden it was, of course, everyone was over 18, and that is the legal age to drink in Australia, and suddenly I was in an environment where everyone loved to drink and party and go crazy and, you know, just that kind of lifestyle. Now, I wasn't really ever into drinking and partying too much, especially in my uni days. I probably reached that after uni, which is, I guess, considered as a late bloomer. But I guess I didn't attend a lot of those. I didn't attend any of those pub crawls or anything. And I just want to say, if you're not into that as well, there's no need to feel like you have to. Don't need to feel pressured into going to those. If you're not into it, don't worry about it. I didn't go, and I don't feel that I missed out on anything. But of course, you know, if you're into partying and whatnot, of course, you know, go for it. Just be responsible about it. Now, in terms of juggling all your studies, I would definitely recommend that you keep a diary, and you can put all your deadlines in there of, you know, certain assignments and assessments due, and you can even set yourself a schedule of which days in the week you're going to work on certain assignments. And for me, that really helped me, because if you just sort of know about everything that you need to do and you don't organize yourself, you can really stress yourself out, because you can just get overwhelmed about all the work that you need to do. But once you plan ahead and you schedule it all out, it's not so bad. So I would definitely recommend that. Now, I remember that studying for exams was always a super stressful time. It was like doing VCE, but, you know, twice a year, every year of my uni life, because we have exams at the end of every semester. So what really helped me was to put together a study timetable, and so you would break that down into each day and even into each hour, what subjects that you're planning to study during that time slot and what topic within that subject you're going to study. So for example, I would write 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock I'm studying business statistics on X topic, and then from 12 to 1 is my lunch break. And yes, you would schedule in your lunch breaks, or even just like, you know, walk around breaks, like, you know, 5-10 minute breaks throughout your whole day, so that you're not just, you know, tempted to go and slack off and stop studying because you've got that scheduled in. So that's what really helped me, and I would suggest that if you're not the type of person that can study well at home because of certain distractions, I would suggest that you actually leave the house to study. If that means going to the local library or even going all the way to uni to study, which is what I did, and Caulfield, Clayton, neither of those campuses were close for me, but I would do that so that I could get my studying done. I would suggest that you do that if you've got too many distractions at home. Now, speaking of distractions, if you're also not the type of person that can study well with friends, then don't study with your friends all the time. And I know that sort of sounds harsh, but if you're going to study with friends and not get any studying done, then that's just a complete waste of time. So you're better off getting your studying done and then scheduling times to catch up with them for lunch, for example. So on top of all the studies, I would definitely suggest that you try and get some work in your area of study. So if you're studying marketing, for example, which is what I studied, I would suggest that you try and get some work in marketing. And that doesn't mean that you need to go for, you know, marketing manager position or anything like that. Even if it's a receptionist role within a marketing firm, that's going to get your foot in the door. So it's all about trying to get your foot in the door, because even though you will get a qualification and a pretty piece of paper at the end of your degree, it doesn't necessarily mean a lot if you don't also have some experience. So definitely try to get work in your area. I know that's really hard though, and for myself, I wasn't actually able to get work in my area during my uni days. So if you can't, I would absolutely suggest that you still work, and retail is a great industry to work in to get skills in customer service, speaking, verbal communication, even written communication depending on where you're working. And that sort of thing is really valued by employers when they're looking at all these applications, and you know, you may be one of, you know, thousands with the same degree, the same qualification, but they're also looking at your work experience. So keep that in mind. So that's all for my video today. I hope that you found some of this useful. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave them down below, and thumbs up if you enjoyed watching or found this useful. If you have any other similar requests, then let me know down below, and I would be glad to do it if you guys are interested in watching. So be sure to follow me on my blog, which is lovechicstyling.com, and connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!